It all started pretty simply, at a subway station. Right when the display announced the train's arrival, the train car keeps rolling to its destination while the intercom plays that usual reminder for nobody to try sneaking in while the doors are closing. The voice insists it's better to wait for the next one if it's too packed. But the MC doesn't even flinch, planted right there in the front. He makes his way inside the car, and soon someone calls out to Jungkook, pointing out a good spot to sit. A buddy still thinks their stop is right up next. But the girl isn't having it and asks what's the rush. Why not rest a bit, leaving it up to the main guy to settle the debate? The MC gets lost in thought, remembering that after finishing his delivery he had that rare family get-together, everyone laughing about the time they kicked something so hard it ended up deep in the woods. He imagines it would have been great to see his old man's face right then. But the image fades and the truth hits: there was no family gathering at all. His mind just wandered to them while he was riding the subway. Then pops up a memory of a super happy kid, calling out for his mom. The mom quickly steps in saying public places aren't racetracks, but the little guy talks back saying there's barely anyone around. She doesn't care if it's crowded or not. The rule is the rule. And the MC just stands there, keeping a low profile, watching it all in silence. The train doesn't stop, cutting through the darkness of the tunnel on its route. Meanwhile, the MC is sitting right there, completely surrendered to his own solitude on the bench. With his keychain in hand, he realizes he's completely zoning out. Looking at the keychain, he admits that this whole subway ride was just his imagination, something he cooked up while sitting at home. We can see he's in a room that looks like he's grounded. The only decoration around is a skeleton. He quickly corrects himself, thinking that calling this place home is a massive stretch. Staring at the floor, he starts piecing together what that hole really means. A building in total ruins. And what we actually see is an entire city in ruins, living proof that the world, right now, is in pure apocalypse mode. The MC remembers what his old man used to say, that about 40 years ago, way before he was born, life was a whole different story. The world was a peaceful place where you could walk down the street without constantly looking over your shoulder. But disaster didn't send a warning text. On the contrary, it showed up completely unannounced. The black pillars arrived. A massive wave of them started falling from the sky, right on top of the city. Those things, coming from who knows where, just dropped right on top of people. The impact was brutal, a destruction so massive that there was no time to react. Just replaying the story in his head brings the shock right back to the MC's face. He thinks the world basically ended right there, leaving only the leftovers and a handful of survivors. But then he catches himself. This is just what the old man used to tell him. A lot of the stuff he heard as a kid was hard to swallow, but this story, being so bizarre, felt like it made absolutely no sense. Picking the keychain off the floor. The idea of a bunch of strangers squeezed into a tiny metal box like that seems totally absurd to him. In his mind, packing yourself into a place like that would be like signing your own doom certificate. The old man swore it worked because the world back then was peaceful. But the MC thinks that's a total fairy tale. For him, a time of peace is something that doesn't exist anymore, and anyone selling that story is a grade A scammer. Even so, he admits to himself that he still gets the urge to ride a real subway someday. He imagines that tearing through those deep underground tunnels must give you the feeling of piercing right through space itself. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps breaks the silence, and the MC's spider sense starts tingling. Wasting no time, he hides behind a wall that has definitely seen better days. From the sound of the boots, he figures it's military and does the quick math. Not 3, it's 2 guys. From his hiding spot, he sizes up the 2 soldiers and thinks it's weird. Too few guys to be a full unit, and out in a place like this? They gotta be deserters. The MC decides a fight isn't worth the hassle. The best move is to lay low and let the guys pass by. One of the soldiers, geared up with a rifle and heavy equipment, freezes for a second. But the soldier suddenly turns around, grumbling that it looks like they found the trail. The MC exhales, realizing a one-on-one showdown is now unavoidable. He steps out, and in the surprise, one of the soldiers is already yelling, demanding to know who's there. The partner tries to keep things chill, telling the other guy not to lose his cool. Looking ahead, they come face to face with the MC and notice his uniform, immediately wondering what a mailman is doing way out there. The soldier asks what his mission is, and the MC explains he's on the route to deliver an air raid warning, since he already finished the regular mail run the day before. The soldier, suspicious as can be, just gives a short, "We'll see about that." The other guy, wearing a gas mask that probably smells like 3 different wars, lets out a mocking little laugh. He says that if only 2 of them are left, the beating must have been legendary, and our MC, who wasn't born yesterday, already catches on that if they want people breathing, there's some shady business going on. Before the chat turns into group therapy, the kid cuts the tension. "Hey, mailman?" And he throws out that question like a guy trying to sell you a timeshare. Your stomachs are growling, aren't they? The 2 guys almost fall backwards, Food? Are you serious, or is that just hunger hallucinations? One of them questions, already eyeing the kid's bag. The MC, a master at fishing for info, proposes a trade. Want to make a deal? What do you guys have on you that isn't a rash or regret? The masked guy gets more hyped than a kid at an all-you-can-eat buffet. He starts digging through his junk and offers everything. Bandages, soap, batteries, and even some antibiotics he swears still do the trick. After showing off his makeshift convenience store, he drops the question. So, Mr. Mailman, what's it gonna be? The hygiene combo or the survival kit? The MC doesn't even blink. Ammo. The soldier freezes. The silence gets so heavy you can hear someone's stomach rumbling in the background. With that "I know you have it" smirk, the MC doubles down with zero shame. BOLEETS. Ammo. The guy tries to play dumb, taps his rifle, and says their caliber is 5.56mm. But the kid shuts it down. Relax, the bullets aren't for my personal use. That's when the two guys get completely lost. He explains the science behind it. A mailman isn't a pack mule carrying dead weight. Ammo is the perfect investment, small, light, and worth more than gold bars on the black market. The masked guy still tries to push the batteries and meds, but the MC is standing his ground. No bullets, no deal, company policy. The partner steps in, trying to be the voice of reason. Hold up, we get your entrepreneurial spirit, but if I give you my bullets, what am I supposed to shoot? Spit? The MC just drops a "cool suit yourselves" and reaches into his bag with a mysterious vibe. He pulls out a full bottle and makes the ultimate offer. 1 bullet. Just 1. And I'll hand over this entire bottle right here. The soldier almost passes out from shock. Just 1 single round, you hear? No crying about it, the kid reinforces. And to seal the deal, he even promises to toss a lighter into the mix if they shake on it right now. He finishes the sales pitch. The lighter is fully gassed up, never even sparked. Are you really gonna let 1 measly bullet ruin the barbecue? The guy in the mask goes mute, processing the offer like he's calculating the national GDP. The vibe gets tenser than a championship final. The three of them stare each other down in that classic standoff of who's gonna make the first move. With a look of someone who knows a dirty secret, the kid starts. Unless, the camera does a close-up on his eyes, which are now shining with pure suspicion, and he drops the bomb. You guys don't even have a single speck of gunpowder in those guns, do you? The ground practically vanishes beneath the soldier's feet, blind with rage over being caught. The soldier cocks the rifle with a dry click. You cocky little punk. He points the barrel right in the MC's face and challenges, you really want to pay to see if this mag is just empty iron? The kid throws his hands up in a, whoa, chill out my guy kind of way, saying there's no need for patriots to fight. But the soldier tells him to shut his trap. The military guy totally loses it, he says. They're already doomed anyway, and trash talks the kid, calling him a useless, smart aleck mailman. The MC actually gets a bit offended by the useless part, but what really makes his radar ping is the doomed anyway part. Then he figures out the whole puzzle. I thought you guys were just lost, but you're deserters. Or worse, not even that. With a mocking little laugh, he corrects himself. The technical term for you guys now is dirty thieves. The soldier goes beast mode, lets out a swear word that would make a sailor blush, and charges at him with everything he's got. While the big brute rushes forward, the kid narrates his own fight. All this anger just proves I hit the nail right on the head. He lands a solid elbow right in the middle of the crazy guy's face, shattering the mask and declaring, no bullets, right? I knew it. The guy with the broken mask can only let out some groans of pain that sound like a punctured tire. With that, the other military guy pulls out his knife and tries to get the MC from behind, playing it super cowardly. The attack is fast, but the kid is way too smooth. It looks like he's dancing. The deserter still has to listen to the trash talk. For a guy trying to slice a neck, you're swinging your arms around like a windmill. The soldier can't believe how fast the kid's legs are moving. The MC ducks, spins his body with the elegance of an alley cat and easily dodges the line of fire, or line of knife, in this case. He lands a kick that makes the enemy see stars. A mailman. How dare you hit me, the soldier yells, totally outraged. The military guy tries to pull himself together for round 2, but the kid disarms the dude before he can even finish his thought. Sitting on the ground, the MC warns him, you're tired, see? We're done with this nonsense of underestimating the mail service. He takes the guy's knife and uses his own blade to block the very next strike. It's pure style. Sparks fly from the metal and the military guy looks absolutely clueless, not understanding where all this talent came from. The kid flips his stance and goes in for the counterattack with zero mercy. He lands a punch to the soldier's stomach that folds the guy like a piece of paper, sending a clear message. Beating up a mailman is just pure prejudice against the working class, you know? The military guy collapses, groaning and begging for mercy on the floor. The first soldier, standing up all wobbly, points at the MC's arm and yells, "You! That thing on your arm!" He refuses to believe that a simple letter delivery boy stole an elite officer's shield. The kid takes a look at the shield strapped to his arm, which now has a few souvenirs from the fight. He lets out a disappointed sigh. "Man, an ugly scratch right here? This is gonna look terrible in the base's yearbook photos." The kid walks up to the two stooges on the ground and lays it out. "So, handsome guys, how are we paying for the scratch on my shield? You got Venmo, or are we putting it on your tab with a beatdown?" One of the military guys, trying to act tough even while eating dirt, warns that if headquarters catches him with that gear, it's lights out, no complaints. The MC doesn't even blink, turns to the other guy and says with that mocking vibe, "Cool, so how about we change the subject? How about we talk about a different kind of bullet?" The dude looks more lost than a tourist without a map. Then he does that dramatic pause, just to watch the sweat drip down their foreheads, and says, "For instance." He pulls out a modern pistol, one of those that shine brighter than a gold tooth, and adds, "This kind of tool right here. Ever seen one up close, or only in a catalog?" The soldier almost has a heart attack when he recognizes the metal. "A hunter's pistol? You gotta be kidding me." Completely rattled and feeling the weight of his mistake, the military guy stammers, wanting to know what kind of freak the kid is, and the MC answers with the piece of a Buddhist monk. "Me." He gives a little half smile. "The answer is right in front of you, champ. I'm just a regular mailman running the daily grind, making deliveries on time." The MC checks out a tear in his sleeve and starts grumbling to himself, imagining the epic chewing out he's gonna get when he shows his face at headquarters. He holds his jacket, making a face like he's trying to figure out if a grandma's patch job will fix it, or if he's gonna have to invent a really good excuse. Now properly dressed, as much as possible, he thinks that for the damage to his shield, he should have hit those two guys a lot harder, but what he collected is enough to cover the repair deductible. Ready for the next round, he drops a, "Alright then, let's hit the road." Time waits for no one, and gets back on his route. What we see now is our hero crossing a street that looks like it got chewed up by a giant, under that late afternoon sun. That's basically warning him, the sky is gonna fall on your head in exactly 3 hours. He walks up to a heavily reinforced wall and immediately hears a very friendly yell from up top. "Hold it right there, crazy kid." On top of the wall, a soldier points his rifle like he's looking at a paper target, while his partner just sizes the MC up, trying to figure out if he's a threat or a joke. One of the guards comments, "It's just another one of those crazy mailmen." But the other one finds it weird. "Wait, we didn't order any pizza for today, did we?" Not wanting to waste his breath, the MC just reaches into his bag and pulls out that official document with the government seal. When the masked guard reads the header, the shock is so big he almost drops his rifle. "Don't tell me it's what I think it is. Did the apocalypse bill just arrive?" The kid confirms that the little gift is an air raid warning and drops the weather forecast right away. Only 2 hours and 40 minutes left until things get ugly in the Pillar Parks itself, right here. The guards start gossiping frantically, trying to understand why a mailman is playing Doomsday Psychic. One says it's way outside his job description. The other swears he's never seen a mailman deliver anything but past due bills. One of them starts panicking. If this kid is here, it's because a pillar the size of a 10-story building is heading our way. But a commanding voice cuts the chatter and tells everyone to zip it. The kid, already sick of their amateur hour, asks, "So, are you gonna wait for the pillar to drop in your lap to sound that alarm? Or is the button too hard to press?" Right then, panic sets in, and someone yells to get the captain while mashing the alarm button. An infernal noise takes over the place, letting everyone know the moment of truth has arrived. Down below, the guard gives the all clear, "Come on in" signal and opens the gate. "Get in here, mailman, before I change my mind." The MC makes his way inside the complex, which is darker than the inside of a closed closet. He walks down the hallway in full raider mode, checking out every detail of the place's busted security. He notices the steel ceiling and has an ironic thought. Man, it's basically a miracle this tin can hasn't turned into a strainer yet. With the alarm blaring in their ears, the people inside are running around like headless chickens. Some are sprinting, some freeze up, and everyone looks at the MC like he personally delivered a plague. A little girl, acting tough like she's seen way worse, says the day finally came. But she's not leaving even if the world ends. Which, technically, was about to happen. The MC watches the whole circus with a look of, "I don't get paid enough for this," without uttering a single peep. The masked guard leads the kid to a guy radiating authority and announces, "Captain, the bagman is here." The MC sizes the guy up, wondering if he's the actual big boss or just the one who yells the loudest. The captain crosses his arms and holds the stare down. The kid remembers the golden rule. In a strange place, the first visit is like meeting a wild animal: sniff first, attack later. He knows the trick is to figure out the local rules. In this world where smartphones are bricked and the gravy train derailed decades ago, the only way to socialize is through these crazy settlements where everyone makes up their own rules so they don't turn into fertilizer. He pulls up rule number 1 from the Mailman survival guide. Keep your mouth shut and let the owner of the house bark first. The captain breaks the ice with a classic. So Mailman, you bring good news or just disaster? But to everyone's surprise, the guy cracks a smile from ear to ear, gives him a huge bear hug, and thanks him for the visit, already inviting the kid to hydrate his soul with a highly suspicious drink. Once inside the room, the leader lowers his voice and confesses he doesn't want to cause a mass freakout, asking, "Is that black pillar really gonna park itself on my front porch?" The kid hands over the paper and confirms the government's diagnosis. The clock is ticking, Captain. 2 hours and counting until the final squeeze. The captain stares at the numbers but admits with zero shame, "To me, this is all just scribbles. I'm a man of action, not a math guy." He locks eyes with the MC, looking for an answer that isn't on the paper. "Tell me, kid, what is this pile of numbers actually trying to tell me?" The leader wants to know if their roof can handle the hit. But the MC smoothly dodges the question. "Captain, I just delivered the envelope. If the roof holds, you're gonna have to ask an engineer or pray to a saint." The captain loses his patience. "Cut the crap. You've seen more pillars fall than summer rain. Give it to me straight, kid." But the MC keeps his poker face. "I'm out of the loop. I just followed the GPS." The guy gets ticked off, lets out a top-tier swear word, and tells the kid to get lost if he's just gonna waste his time. But he soon calms down while the MC mentally repeats rule number 2. And it's a golden rule. Don't stick your hand in a cookie jar that isn't yours. Crouching in the corner, the kid thinks that, as much as he wants to bounce, he still has that annoying extra side gig to finish his quota. The captain gets suspicious. Is that official business or a side hustle? The MC, without even bothering to stand up, confirms, "It's HQ protocol, Captain. Just part of the job." He drops a cocky little robot on the floor. The leader looks at the thing like it's a straight-up alien. The MC explains, "This little tin can is here to measure the size of the mess when the pillar comes crashing down." Standing back up, the kid gives the technical breakdown to see if the captain stops asking questions. "We compare what the government thought was going to happen with the actual tragedy. Just tell me one thing. This patched up ceiling of yours isn't going to mess with my toy signal, right?" He wraps up his apocalyptic geography lesson. To the eggheads back at HQ, these black pillars aren't just falling rocks. They got style. They don't just drop randomly. The truth is, these pieces of junk act like they have a mind of their own. They hit the brakes when they punch through the atmosphere and land with surgical precision right on the target. Doesn't matter if you got a tin roof, concrete, or a whole lot of prayers, if the pillar picked your backyard, it's parking there, period. The MC is already spinning on his heels and gives it straight to the captain. "Listen up, because I'm not going to say it twice. The clock is ticking and now you've only got 1 hour and 50 minutes of guaranteed life." The captain feels the cold sweat drop and asks, looking completely lost, "And you? What are you going to do? Clock out and disappear?" Walking out of the room, the kid is already mentally preparing himself. He knows being a mailman in a war zone is like being a celebrity. Everyone wants a piece of you. Nailed it. A mob of people pops out of nowhere surrounding the kid, everybody holding some piece of junk trying to barter, yelling, "Mr. Mailman," like he's the apocalyptic Santa Claus. But he shuts the crowd down instantly. "Let me be clear, this ain't a flea market. I only take bullets. Whoever's got ammo, raise your hand. The rest of you can keep walking." He takes a look over the desperate crowd and just shakes his head. Crazy people, the characters I have to deal with, he thinks, fully immune to human drama by now. Suddenly, a more persistent Mr. Mailman cuts through the noise and he turns his neck to see who's next in line. A guy stretches his arm out holding a super rusty grenade. "Look, ammo is harder to find than a needle in a haystack, but this iron egg right here should do some damage. Want it?" While the kid is trying to cross the hallway, the captain, acting like gum stuck to his shoe, yells for him again. Now, in a more private corner, the leader thinks the MC lost his mind. "You're gonna trade food for a grenade that might as well be a party popper?" The kid isn't fazed. "I can find bandages in any trash can. I have a stash of antibiotics. But an explosive, now that's a luxury item." He weighs the grenade in his hand, does that quality check of someone who's thrown a lot of things in the air, and guarantees, "Relax, Captain. This thing is gonna make a really nice boom when I need it to." The captain changes the record and asks why the kid is still dragging his feet instead of hitting the road. The MC drops an excuse like someone who just wants to watch the world burn. "I'm gonna stick around a tiny bit longer. I just want to see if your tin roof can take the hit from the pillar, or if it's gonna fold like paper." The old leader stands there chewing on his words and finally spits it out. Since you're just killing time, I got a little favor to ask. The MC's warning lights flash immediately. Here comes the headache. Right then, that same brat from before, Kyunghee, comes rushing in, introduces herself like she owns the place, and rubs it in his face. Remember me? We saw each other outside. Before the girl can finish her first sentence asking if he was heading back to HQ, the MC just plants his hand on her head to get her to stop jumping around. The kid looks at the captain with a grumpy face. What kind of circus act is this now? The leader spills the beans. The little girl has a life or death delivery, and he wants her to hitch a ride with the MC. It's cheaper to give you a few bullets than for me to burn shoe leather and risk my life getting to HQ. The captain confesses with zero shame, suspicious of his own shadow. The MC questions it. And why does she have to tag along? Hand me the letter and I'll take it. I'm not a doomsday babysitter. He tells the girl to scram, saying his only company is his own shadow. But Junie is bold. Oh yeah? Well then I'll be your shadow now. Try getting rid of me, I dare you. Out of nowhere, the kid shines a flashlight right on the MC's shadow. The boy almost jumps out of his skin at her audacity. He gets furious. Are you wasting battery life on this nonsense, kid? But she doesn't stop, just keeps playing with the light and challenging the boy. The MC does what any grown-up would do, ignores it and keeps moving. That's when she drops the bait, pulls a brand new magazine of ammo out of her pocket. The MC's eyes go wide and his heart skips a beat. Are those bullets? In the background, the captain grumbles. Man, what a clueless kid. Gave away the gold way too early. The little girl doesn't even realize and keeps her hands stretched out. The kid tries to be rational. Look, a mailman needs trust and this place is drier than a desert. How come they let a kid walk around with ammo? He takes the mag, gives it a technical once-over, and notices it's top-tier, military-grade stuff. It's almost full. He goes quiet for a second and it hits him. This captain is an absolute genius, he thinks. Catching on to the old man's play, the leader steps up, points at the girl, and holds a look that seems to carry the weight of all the pillars in the world. The MC sighs. For the amount of bullets in here, I'd deliver my own mother. But you want me to take the kid to HQ? What about you? Are you just gonna stay here waiting for the sky to fall? The man answers with the coldness of someone who's accepted his fate. This hole right here is our home, kid. And he wraps it up. Someone's gotta keep playing while the ship goes down. But the little one, she doesn't need to be buried with the rest of us. The kid looks back, giving one last glance at the steel ceiling that looks more like a strainer. But then he shrugs it off. Yeah, you can always build another roof. Keeping your skin attached is what matters. He turns to Kyunhee and gives the ultimatum. Alright, Shadow. Fast-paced and mouth-zipped. Let's go. The girl almost sets off fireworks, she's so happy. Once outside, the MC picks up the pace because time is flying. A little girl, still in her infinite question phase, drops one. Hey, mailman. The roof is gonna hold up back there, right? No way in hell, the MC answers straight up. The girl almost trips. Whoa. Then why didn't you tell them? They would have run for it. The kid stops and explains his survival philosophy. I kept quiet for 2 reasons, shorty. First, someone who decides to die hugging their house won't change their mind even if the world ends. And second, there's always that 1 in a million chance that someone makes it out in one piece, he says, looking up at the sky that's starting to look pretty nasty. He finishes his thought. Maybe they'll get lucky like I did once. The alarm on his watch beeps, only 30 minutes left until the show starts. Meanwhile, back at the settlement, the sky is turning as red as tomato juice. Danger has arrived. Inside the busted bar, a nervous guard asks, Captain, shouldn't we tell the people to run for the woods? The leader plays dumb. The roof is right there, always held up. It'll hold up again. The guard notices the captain is downing a bottle of whiskey he was saving for the end of the world, which is today. The captain, in a last round kind of mood, offers the guy a sip. Drink up, it's gonna be a long ride. Ben, looking a bit spaced out, he asks, that kid, the mailman, did he say anything else before he left? The guard stammers a bit before opening his mouth. The scene focuses on the captain, who looks like a movie is playing in his head. He remembers the kid's line, you can always rebuild a roof. The captain lets out a dry laugh. That kid is smarter than he looks. Only he knows what he really meant with that rebuilding talk. In the middle of that dead silence, the guard asks the burning question. You got anything to eat? I've got end of the world hunger over here. The leader gives a sad smile and recalls. Lucky you, there's still a piece of beef jerky left. Far from where the ground is still shaking, Jung Yi is chewing on a piece of beef jerky, looking like she's eating sand, trying to delete what she left behind from her mind. She looks at the MC's bag like it's a magic hat. Man, is that thing cursed? Stuff just keeps coming out. She even tries to share her snack with him, but the kid keeps his icy stare and passes. The MC grabs the ammo magazine and starts inspecting it like a guy who's counted a lot of bullets in his life. He does the math in his head. A mag like this should hold 30, but since the first one in line is a special edition, the math isn't adding up. It's short 1 bullet. He realizes the captain is a sly old fox. He wouldn't just hand the girl a shorted mag out of pure forgetfulness. I see the play here, he mutters, dropping a "thanks for keeping your end of the bargain" that leaves Kang Hee completely clueless. She confesses that the captain swore up and down that mailmen were good guys, the government's right hand, but that she personally thought the MC was just gonna take the bullets and ditch her at the first lamppost. The MC shuts her down immediately. "Listen here, Shadow, we're not buddies. You're the one glued to me and I'm trying really hard to forget you exist, even with that polite cake in the teeth." The kid is stubborn and says she wants to say thanks the proper way. She flashes a huge smile, gives a thumbs up and shouts a super energetic "Mr. Mailman." The kid gives a laugh like someone losing patience by the second, stops the girl in her tracks and asks, "What kind of gang sign is that you're throwing?" She explains, all flustered, that back at her settlement that was the universal sign for gratitude. The MC lets out a "Lord give me strength" sigh and says, "Open your ears wide, kid." The girl tries to act tough. "My name is Kyun Hee." But he successfully ignores it and sticks with "kid" just to keep the habit going. He gives her a lesson. Hand signs are like slang, they change on every corner. Now that you're out in the real world, you gotta learn the code of people who don't want to die. He grabs her little hand, folding down finger by finger, almost doing human origami, until he gets the right gesture. The girl mimics the so-called thumbs up, standing there looking like she's trying to figure out quantum physics. Out of nowhere it clicks for her and her eyes practically pop out of her mask, pure panic written all over her face. The MC flips the switch to survival mode. Playtime's over, it's time. The sky gives off a massive "we're screwed" flash, letting them know the punishment is coming from above. He crouches down, throws his cloak over her like a tent, and barks the order. "Cover your ears and open your mouth so your eardrums don't pop." She obeys like a little toy soldier. He stares up at the darkness and thinks the sky is so angry it doesn't even need subtitles to make its point. He remembers the story that the black pillars drop on the world, like nails being hammered into the dirt by an angry giant. A phrase he heard that just stuck in his mind. He reflects that, even after so much time since the old world went down the drain, humanity is still on its knees precisely because of these damn nails. It's like the pillars have an evil GPS, always choosing to destroy whatever hurts the most so we can never get back on our feet. And the only places that sleep soundly, without fear of waking up with a pillar in their living room, are HQ and the Geofront, which is an entire city dug way down where the sun doesn't shine. Kyun Hee hears the name and gives him a look like, "Huh? Say what?" The MC calls an end to the chatting. "Brace yourself, here it comes." The world suddenly goes white. A brutal flash blinds everything. A black pillar, massively and stupidly huge, comes tearing through the air like gravity is in a rush to destroy the city. And it didn't come alone. Behind it comes a shower of other pillars, hammering what's left of the ruins without an ounce of pity. The MC drops an "oh crap," thinking Kyomi's people really hit the jackpot in the bad luck lottery. He explains to the little girl that not every attack is this overkill. This time, they sent the premium destruction combo right at them. With his face shielded, the kid remembers his original plan was to recover the little measuring robot so he wouldn't take a loss. He knows a comms core is worth more than a lot of people's lives, but looking at the shattered concrete, he realizes the robot is toast. Officially turned into scrap metal, he turns to the girl and declares, "Game over. The show's done, now it's time to leg it toward HQ." Except he sees the girl right there, on her knees, and thinks it's weird. "Are you gonna pray right now? This ain't the time for that." But Yoonhee is focused, adjusting her gas mask with a seriousness that doesn't match her size. She stands up and, when he gives the command to move out, she just gives a firm nod. The scene shows a bridge that the attack made sure to turn into a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. The two of them keep walking, stepping over what's left of the world. Right in the middle of that post-war silence, Kyung-hee starts crying, but it's that silent cry, where the tears look like they weigh a ton. She edges closer to the MC, her face all wet, looking for some direction. And she lets out that "Mr. Mailman" with her voice shaking like a leaf. He starts explaining that the black pillars are pure incarnate disaster, but that if you squeeze really hard, you can squeeze a little bit of beauty out of the situation. It's just that, right after the sky stops falling. And the girl looks up, hypnotized. Her eyes sparkle, reflecting the spectacle happening high above. "You can see the stars better than on any other day," he says, while the night opens up full of stars, without the dust and the glare of the cities getting in the way. The kid crouches down a bit and lays it out. "See, Not everything in this world is just a kick in the shins. Kyung-hee looks at him kinda suspiciously. You're trying to comfort me, aren't you? Are you being sweet? He jumps up, super defensive. Sweet my foot, I hate crying. And with all the walking we gotta do, crying is just a dumb way to waste battery power and energy we're gonna need for running. With a little smile like she just won the lottery, the girl picks up the pace, glued to the MC's heels. Mid-walk, Kyung-hee switches on annoying reporter mode and starts firing questions. She wants to know if he only delivers letters so he won't starve, or if he's got some secret dream hidden behind that grumpy face. She keeps pressing the interrogation, wanting to find out what kind of paper is worth risking your neck for, and even complains that he's more locked up than a bank full. The kid grumbles that she's a bigger headache than a toothache, but eventually softens up and promises to show the little girl a relic. He pulls out his train keychain and the girl's eyes go wide. What kind of weird toy is that? He asks if she's ever heard of a subway that steel snake that used to carry crowds from one side to the other in the blink of an eye. Kyung-hee looks at the object and just thinks of the obvious. Can you eat it? It's the size of a piece of candy. The MC almost has a stroke. This here is a miniature. The real thing is a titan. He gives the order, close your eyes and use your imagination if you've even got one. He describes the subway cutting through the ground, flying underneath the earth with hundreds of people inside. It's the ride that takes you wherever you want to go, he says, confessing with a low voice that, even though it's stuff from the old world, he still dreams of seeing one running someday. The girl burst out laughing. Deep down, you're a lot sillier and more innocent than you look, huh? The MC turns red with anger. He quickly changes the subject and launches a counterattack. And how long were you planning to hide that from me? Leaving the girl with a massive question mark on her face. He goes straight for the jugular, bringing up the ammo mag, and accuses, you pocketed a bullet, didn't you? Where is it? The MC warns her he isn't being cheap and wanting the bullet back, but that he's pressing her just to see if she'd learn to keep her mouth shut for 5 minutes. But the girl's answer floors the kid. She swears, up and down, that she ate the bullet. Have you lost your mind? Who in their right mind eats metal for dinner? He yells. She justifies it by saying the beef jerky ran out and her stomach started protesting. He is dumbfounded, grumbling that kids will eat wall plaster if you let them. But that this right here is just bad manners. And she needs to learn how to live in the real world. With that, he puts his hand on her shoulder and the mood shifts. His voice gets serious. The MC warns, listen up, next time your stomach growls, just say the word. I'll split my grub with you, you don't need to eat lead. Surprised by the cute gesture by his low standards, the girl stands there processing it and whispers, Mr. Mailman. Out of nowhere, the kid shoves her hard, throwing the little girl behind him while looking up. Kyung-hee almost falls over from the shock. Shut your trap and don't even twitch an eyebrow, he orders, leaving the girl totally confused. Hiding behind a crumbling wall, the MC explains that the apocalypse wasn't just made of bombs and pillars. He points to the shadows, the black monsters that spawn from the structures. He warns her that the area must be infested with those pests. The MC pulls out his knife. His look goes ice cold, and he says he's gonna clear the area, playing it cool. He charges into the attack in a flash. He slides across the floor without making a sound, looking like a ghost. But fate is tricky. One of the creatures turns its neck and comes face to face with the kid. The MC's eyes go wide. The secret agent plan just went down the drain. Boom! A deafening crack rips through the air. It was Kyung-hee who pulled the trigger on the rifle right at the beast. The gun barrel spits fire and the noise echoes through all the ruins, letting the entire neighborhood know there's food in the area. The boy turns back in disbelief. Did that brat really just shoot? Seeing the monster take the heavy lead, he just stands there digesting the sheer audacity of this kid. Kyung-hee holds his stare. The MC figures out her hustle. The story about eating the bullet was pure BS. She saved her trump card for the right moment. You idiot. He roars with rage, knowing exactly what comes next. The gunshot was the dinner bell for the other monsters, who are already charging full speed their way, drooling. The MC still manages to block one of their strikes with the steel of his knife. But the math ain't mathing. It's too many beasts for not enough blade. Suddenly, a creature pops up right behind the girl, ready to snap its jaws shut on her neck. Acting on pure instinct, the kid throws his knife. The metal flies and hits the monster dead center before it can bite. He locks eyes with the little girl, sweat pouring down and his eyes blazing with intense concentration. Except that the first monster, the one he was holding back, takes advantage of the fact that the MC is unarmed and attacks with everything it's got. The creature's claws rip through the air and land a direct hit on the girl. Kyung-hee collapses to the ground, blood staining the dust. The MC runs over to her, feeling the world spin in despair. He holds her in his arms and yells, "Why didn't you listen to me?" With her voice failing, she answers, I saw you only had a little knife. I thought you wouldn't make it alone. The kid wants to know why she lied about the bullet, and she explains that it was the captain who taught her to be smart. In this dog-eat-dog world, never show all your cards. She still tries to praise the MC for fighting so hard with just a knife. But he tells her to shut her mouth and save whatever oxygen she has left. Suddenly, the MC's eyes change, and intense electric blue glows in his pupils. He activates his system vision and runs the diagnosis. The number that pops up on the screen makes his stomach tie into knots. 0.9% chance of survival. He thinks fast. Even if he uses his whole medical kit from the bag, her chances are 0. And the worst part, the sound of the gunshot is going to attract way worse things. If a monster with a core shows up, he's totally cooked. At the peak of his fury against fate, the MC totally loses it and screams, "SCRW this." He sends the statistics and the system straight to hell. But deep down, he already knows the rules of the game. Fate is a loan shark that doesn't take installments and never gives a discount. All banged up, Kyung-hee keeps it real. She says she's done for, that her game over screen is flashing and there's no use trying to patch up what's beyond repair. But she has one last wish. With a shaking hand, she holds out that blood-stained letter and reminds him, "Remember when you said I could register a delivery right here? Right now?" The little girl looks at him with whatever life she has left and asks if Mr. Mailman can take this one last gig. The guy turns to stone, completely at a loss for words. On the paper, her name is right there, written in a kid's handwriting, Kyung-hee. But when he reads the destination, Seoul, his heart skips a beat. Going to Seoul nowadays is basically asking for a one-way ticket to the underworld. But she turns into a lioness and begs with her last breath. She says that letter is the whole reason she held on this long. That it's a cause worth turning into dust for. Meanwhile, the all-you-can-eat buffet is officially open. The sound of the gunshot brought the whole neighborhood of monsters, and they're already surrounding the two with 1,000-year hunger. Out of nowhere, the girl asks, "Do you still have that grenade the captain gave you?" The MC is totally lost. "What are you plotting, kiddo?" Crying and laughing at the same time. She offers her own life as payment for the delivery. There's only one condition. Promise me this letter gets there. All around them, the beast's shadows keep growing, creeping up the walls, ready for the final pounce. Fallen, unable to even lift a finger, she calls out to him one more time, with a whisper of a voice that cuts deeper than a knife. The monsters close in, looking at the two down there like they're staring at a plate of appetizers, all under that cold, indifferent moonlight. That's when she shows the grenade in her hand and drops the plan. "I'll be the bait. I'm taking these jerks down with me. But you have to deliver the letter. See, The metallic sound of the pen being pulled echoes in the silence. She locks eyes with him, a look that cries for help and says goodbye at the same time. "Please, don't let my message fade away," she finishes. The MC holds the stare, his face as hard as an ice statue, but boiling on the inside. With one last smile, the kind you give when you've accomplished your mission, she lets out a "thank you" that just floats in the air. The guy can only watch, eyes wide open and the shock caught in his throat. Holding the metal tight, Jung-hee yells his name one last time, like she wants to carve it into her soul. She drops the little toy on the ground. Two monsters, thinking it's a freebie, jump straight into the trap. What comes next is a flash that makes the sun look like a weak flashlight. The blast swallows everything. When the smoke finally decides to clear, the only thing left is the smell of burnt toast and the charred pieces of the beasts. But his luck is running on fumes. The big monster, the one with the core, survived the hit. It emerges from the smoke with its eye glowing with pure rage and fury. The creature takes a step that cracks the asphalt, coming at him with everything to finish the job. From the middle of that total wreck, the MC manages to recover a glowing sphere, the core. He was right, there was a jackpot beast in the mix, but the price was way too steep. At the end of the day, he's the only one left. Standing there all alone, with the silence pounding in his chest in the middle of that wasteland. He looks up at the sky and already knows. His peace of mind just quit its job. And a good night's sleep is going to take about 10 years to come back. The scene cuts to the new government complex. That concrete monstrosity that looks like a fortress out of a sci-fi movie. A giant tower pierces the sky, showing exactly who's the boss of whatever's left of civilization. The MC walks through the gates, strolling down that cold hallway that echoes his every step. "Jongkok," yells a voice he'd recognize anywhere. It's Director Bae, with that huge smile of a guy who doesn't have a single bill to pay, letting him know he's already heading out to enjoy his time off. Bae notices the kid is looking like he's at a funeral, but doesn't miss the chance to joke. "Hey, A+ Mailman, is that face supposed to scare off the monsters or what?" He mentions there's a special mission briefing happening right now and gives it to him straight. Don't even think about ghosting this Jungkook. The order came from the top. The kid tries to play the exhaustion card, but the director doesn't budge. Stop being soft, kid. This topic is gonna make your eyes light up. Out of patience for arguing, the MC throws in the towel. Fine, whatever. Let's just get this over with. Once in the auditorium, with everyone settled in, Bae takes the stage. Alright folks, full house. Let's get this circus started. While the MC hangs in the back, just observing, the director starts setting up the photos and maps on the big screen. In the silence of the room, Jungkook's brain does an alt-tab and goes right back to Kyunghee. He pictures himself correcting her name in his memory, but at the time, all that came out was a dry, "Yeah, kid." He remembers the lesson he gave about how hand signs change depending on where you step in the world. And the thought wraps up with him concluding that, for him, gratitude now had a brand new symbol. The image of the little girl's hand wrapped around that grenade. Back to reality, a mailman raises his hand, full of questions. The guy wants to know if they're getting a truck or a jeep because the mission's cargo looks ridiculously heavy. Bae lets him finish. The director plays it mysterious. He says the plan is a state secret. But for the elite squad, he's gonna spill the beans. When Bae points to the route on the map, the crowd goes into shock. Are you crazy, boss? Going through there is a guaranteed game over. It's impossible. With a soap opera villain smile, Bae guarantees. Impossible is a word we're deleting today. And he gets ready to drop the bomb. He reveals that the subway, and the MC's world completely stopped spinning right that second, is coming back to life. We're rebuilding the lines, the director finishes. The kid is glued to his chair, holding his breath, remembering the promise he made to Kyunghee. The news about the subway hits the MC like a right hook. He just sits there, frozen, not sure if he should stare at the screen or try to process the info before his brain short-circuits. Director Bae decides to open the black box. The plan is to move a heavy load of military supplies through strategic points. To do that, they're dusting off the tunnels and bringing the subway back to life in total secrecy. The kind of talk where you don't want to attract curious eyes or hungry monsters. The director keeps the show going, explaining that before the tracks sing and the train cars fly, there's a lot of dirty work to be done at the base. And as for who's gonna provide that backup, he drops the warning. This is big league stuff. This operation is only taking people with elite resumes and records cleaner than a licked dinner plate. The MC's eyes get as big as saucers. He's hanging on to Bae's every word like his life depends on this briefing. And, deep down, it actually did. Then comes the catch. The director reveals that this mission is actually the ultimate tryout. Whoever stands out here secures a badge on the main reconstruction squad. The MC is already calculating the experience points this little gig is gonna yield. Out of the corner of his eye, he notices a weird officer trying to figure out what rock that guy crawled out from and what he's scheming. No beating around the bush. Bae gives the ultimatum. Whoever's got the guts and courage, follow me to the next room. If you're scared, you can head back to daycare. The kid lets out that little half smile. He never imagined the Wheel of Fortune would spin his way this fast. Now it looks like the real deal. He's finally gonna see this subway with his own eyes, not just on the little keychain he's squeezing tight in his pocket. His mind is already way ahead. He can almost feel the sway of the train car and the cold tunnel wind hitting his face. But his mental trip gets interrupted by a heavy hand on his shoulder. The director lets him know that Jungkook is a special case, and starts nudging the kid in the right direction, away from the crowd. Bae makes sure to use a solemn tone. Mr. Woo Jungkook, your carriage awaits. The door to the next room opens and the air inside feels heavier, loaded with expectation and the smell of old paper. Another mailman, who was just lingering around, finds the VIP treatment weird. Wait, why does he get to go in and I don't? But the duty officer shuts him down. His mission is customized, buddy. Keep it moving. The MC's trouble radar goes off instantly. They found him way too easily, knew his name, his face. Something's fishy here, he thinks, with that bad gut feeling poking at his stomach. The officer dictates the task with a voice like he's reading a sentence. From now on, this area is yours. Figure it out. The MC looks at the map. Juncheongu. A settlement that's practically a day spa compared to what he's faced before. He finds it weird. They're giving me a break? To me, the guy who's a magnet for disaster? He remembers Director Bae acting all polite at the briefing, and starts suspecting the boss pulled some strings to pave the way for him. He knows his success is what keeps Bae in his job and keeps pondering. Did the old man put me in a glass bubble just so I don't become a statistic and ruin his bonus? But the joy is short-lived. Out of nowhere, the officer pulls a 180-degree turn and announces, I changed my mind. I'm giving this assignment to someone else. The MC almost falls backward. The kid isn't taking that disrespect. Hold up, you show me the candy and now you're putting it back in your pocket. What's your deal? The guy, with a straight poker face, just replies, "My orders were to explain the situation to you. I did. The rest is my call." "And did the orders not include convincing me to join the team?" The MC shoots back, his blood already starting to boil. The man confirms it but makes sure to mark his territory. "Yeah, they did. But I'm the one who runs the roster around here. My pen, my rules." The MC catches on to the dirty play. The guy is gonna give him a regular delivery route, but deny him the subway mission. He gets furious the dude is trying to block him at the door. In the middle of the argument, the officer confesses he played detective and dug through the kid's life, and he found everything too clean. The MC thinks, wait, since when is being a stand-up guy a crime? He knows he's got a few tickets and some mess-ups on his record, but nothing that would land him in lockup or stain his uniform. But to the officer, that's exactly the problem. His record is way too perfect. Like June Cook just popped out of nowhere the day he became a mailman. No past, no paper trail. The guy keeps spitting venom. People who hide their identity like this either have a talent that doesn't fit on a resume, or they've got a really powerful sugar daddy backing them. He locks eyes with the MC. "I hate people who try to climb the ladder relying on nepotism and cozying up to HQ." The MC doesn't back down. "Does this whole sermon have my name on it, or are you just practicing for a theater audition?" The dude plays it off. "I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just introducing myself and making it clear that I don't vibe with shady people." The MC fires back. "If you looked at my record, you saw I didn't get to the top of the rankings playing poker with the director. I busted my hump to get there." The man admits his numbers are impressive, and the MC hits him with the stark, "Well, at least you got eyes to see the obvious." The officer acknowledges that the kid never backed down from a mission, but takes a jab. "You solve everything without breaking a sweat. It looks way too easy for you." The MC cuts right to the chase. "For this subway gig, you guys only want the cream of the crop, right? Are you scared I won't be able to handle it because you've never seen me taking heavy hits on a high-risk run?" The guy gives an enigmatic smile. "Yeah, something like that." Another mailman nearby complains that the MC is acting all high and mighty just because he pushes paper, and asks if his friendship with the brass is really that tight for him to try settling everything on a personal level. The MC flashes a wait-and-see smile and answers, "That's exactly the goal. Get so close they won't even be able to ignore me." The coworker gives a final warning. "Make sure you don't try to play hero and bite the dust out there." The MC claps back instantly. "Kicking the bucket isn't on my schedule today, thanks." He decides right then and there he's gonna rub it in that officer's face what he's capable of. No cheap tricks, no favoritism, just pure grit and competence. All of this just to secure his seat on that train car. The subway is the goal, and nothing is gonna stand in his way. But the night is tricky. The MC crashes into a nightmare where the system's numbers are floating around, survival chances, pain levels, and that cursed 0.9% stat for Jung-hee that he just can't erase. He wakes up with a start, his chest heaving up and down, feeling like the room is shrinking. He lets out a sigh that seems to carry the weight of the world. "Yeah, this memory is here to stay. It's gonna be living rent-free in my head for a long time." Right in the middle of his deep thoughts, someone walks by, gives that super cheerful good morning of a guy with zero trauma, and asks if they'll bump into each other on the job. The MC puts on his usual mask, tosses out a standard "hey," and goes back to his own little world, where his next delivery is worth way more than just a simple envelope. The guy stares at the envelope in the MC's hand and already starts spitting venom. "Is that the package of the day? Are you actually gonna deliver it, or is it just acting as paperweight in your bag?" The MC, whose patience is already hanging by a thread, cuts the nonsense. "I'm swamped with work, buddy. Get lost." But the guy doesn't take a hint. "Chill out, hothead. My schedule is a total mess too." Then he drops the bomb. He says he's also got a letter to deliver, which makes the MC's warning lights go off. "What do you mean? Two guys for the same route?" The kid finds it weird because he checked the duty roster and this guy's name wasn't on it. The dude explains with zero shame that the main guy bailed and he stepped in to cover his shift. The MC, who wasn't born yesterday, or the day before that, shoots him a look that says, "Tell me another one, 'cause I ain't buying it." The man pulls out an official document, all stamped and fancy, proving the paperwork is solid and that the switch was made following that exact principle of organization the kid is always preaching about. And to top it all off and poke the bear, he throws down a challenge. "If you're as good as they say, deliver this 2 days ahead of schedule. Then I'll actually tip my hat to your skills. Deal." The dude holds the stare down, measuring the kid's every heartbeat to see if he flinches. He's right there trying to fish out what makes the MC tick, whether it's just pure ego about being the best, or if he's got some secret hidden under his uniform. The kid deflects. "I don't know what you're talking about. Work is work." Just go deliver your letter and stop barking in my ear. The man ponders. If you actually hit that goal and come back with your head still attached to your neck. But the MC doesn't even let him finish the sentence and shoots back a sharp question. The guy shrugs, drops a "never mind, forget it," and gives him a parting wish that sounds almost like a final goodbye. Hope we run into each other still breathing. Or at least in one piece. The MC hits the road with his bag weighing him down, thinking about the sender, some guy named Cho Yonkan from the new complex. The name sounds weird, but what really makes his brain glitch is the look of the package. He looks at the letter and sees this heavily decorated paper, full of frills. Way too cute. It's a bizarre contrast. A piece of pure delicacy right in the middle of a world that feels like a meat grinder. He catches himself thinking, do these people really still have time to write cute stuff? It's the kind of thing that totally escapes his survival logic. He simply can't process it. The scene focuses on the letter sharing space in the bag with that glowing sphere. The memory of Kyung-hee comes rushing back like a kick to the gut. Two members a few days ago, struggling on the way to HQ when he ran smack into the alpha of the pack. The beast was a total brute and was carrying that exact core. A white light, buzzing with electricity, wraps around the sphere. That core didn't just fall from the sky for free. It cost the little girl's life to be there. Holding the cold piece of gear, the MC slips into that thoughtful trance. He questions if he should really hit the road without clearing up one final doubt. His mind paints the picture of the apocalypse. The sky red with rage and the black pillars hammering the earth like they absolutely hated the ground. From those cursed towers, darkness poured out and the monsters spread like a plague of fire, wiping out whatever was left of humanity. In the middle of all this chaos, it seems like the universe decided to hand out one last Trojan horse, the core. Whether that ball of light is salvation or just a faster way to blow up. The MC is completely in the dark. He knows that, technically, he's holding one of the rarest items in the world. But, with a core, you can never be too careful. The MC is stuck in that cruel dilemma. Did I get scammed, or is this the winning lottery ticket? Mind made up, he tracks down Hyo-won, an appraiser who's even grumpier than the MC himself. The old man barely looks at it and declares, "It's a fake. You're gonna waste my time evaluating garbage." The MC insists, just for his own peace of mind. The old guy is suspicious. Peace of what mind? Where would a little mail carrier find a core like this? The kid cuts the chatter. I'm paying your appraisal fee, aren't I? So zip it and do your job, Grandpa. Hyo-won grumbles that he'll test it just for kicks, but warns him it's gonna amount to nothing, and tells the kid to start getting his gear ready for the road. The MC thinks he's known this old guy for ages. But Hyo-won seems to suffer from selective amnesia and never remembers him. Watching the old man with the sphere on his desk, the MC concludes, 70 years hit him hard. He's totally losing his marbles. He realizes he's gonna have to pull the emotional card to get the guy's attention. He brings up the subject of Hyo-won's daughter. The old man does a total 180. Did something happen to my little girl? Spit it out. The MC bluffs. Did you already forget that I was the one who hand-delivered her letter? The appraiser stammers, trying to fish out the memory through the fog. That was you? Seriously? The kid confirms, says the delivery was a total success, and that the lady even said, thanks. The old man huffs, all puffed up with pride. That girl thanking people over nothing, can you believe it? With a heart softer than jello, Hyo-won decides, you know what? The appraisal is on me today, on the house. The MC plays along. He says he won't take a freebie and offers a bullet. The old guy plays hard to get but accepts. Alright, I'll take it, but man, I feel like I'm taking advantage by charging you. The inside joke here is that the MC has never even seen a trace of the so-called daughter of Hyo-won. The old man walks away, and the MC thinks, this daughter probably doesn't even exist. The old guy likely made her up in his head as he started losing a few screws. But I wanna meet on the drill. Bring up the daughter. The old man works happily, and everybody wins. Hyo-won comes back with the verdict and grumbles that the piece is a perfect fake, too pure, too stable, and therefore totally useless. The MC asks, how bad is the catch? The appraiser gives the final warning. Don't even think about using this. Your chances of turning into mashed potatoes are 99%. The MC chews on the number, 99%. He stares at the sphere and remembers the golden rule. A core is not a kid's toy, but he has a dark thought. He knows that when someone actually beats those cursed odds, the core finally unleashes the power that can change everything. The nature of these cores is a diverse menu of dangers and utilities. In the middle of this shattered world, there are the energy ones, which became the new gods of electricity, and the communication ones, which try to stitch the edges of this broken world back together. But the real treasure, the winning lottery ticket, are the ability cores. The ones that give superhero powers to the user. The problem is that most of them have a failure rate higher than 95%. Trying to activate one of those is basically asking to blow up from the inside out. The MC lets out a heavy sigh, thinking about his rotten luck. Out of all the junk in the world, it was exactly a ticking time bomb like this that landed in his hands. The MC was already heading out, ready to hit the road, when he hears that shout that gives him the chills. "Hey Mailman, are you running away without saying goodbye?" He slowly turns his head, grinding his teeth and grumbling. "Just what I needed. The absolute last person I wanted to see today." And she pops up like magic. The woman's voice already comes in swinging, asking if he's been pulling the pity favor scam using the story of the appraiser's phantom daughter. It's Dr. Mayong. She walks right up, invading his personal space, telling him to stop sweet-talking her patient with smooth lies. The MC doesn't back down. "Listen here, doc. Things might be rough, but I'm no deadbeat. I paid a fair price for the old man's services and I don't owe anyone a thing." The doctor, with a cigarette dangling from her mouth in the face of someone who's seen it all, doesn't even blink. She says this isn't about cash, it's about having an ounce of humanity, and then baits him. "Are you really that knight in shining armor you pretend to be?" She asks if he's the type to live off other people's favors, while keeping his own wallet shut tight. The MC, in a rare moment with his guard down, admits to himself that she hit the nail right on the head. Then comes the reveal. Myung confesses that, in order for the MC to snag that mission from the stuck-up officer, she had to pull some strings and manipulate Director Bae, since, officially, the job was already taken. She explains her scam. She made up a story that the original mail carrier had a stomachache so bad he was doubled over, just to drop the assignment right in the MC's lap. Byung admits she felt too awkward to ask things straight to his face, so she decided to send that mysterious note. She warns him that life isn't just solved with pen and paper, and drops a bossy invitation. "Drop by my clinic every now and then, I don't bite much." The MC just thinks, "It's exactly because of this kind of kindness that I'd rather be a ghost." Myung lays down the law. "I did you a solid. Now you're in my little book of IOUs." The kid, backed into a corner, ends up accepting the deal. He's gonna have to pay that tab later. Her eyes glow a bright red, a dangerous aura that reminds the MC exactly who he's talking to. She tells him that, from now on, she wants to be treated with the respect her title demands. The MC claps back sharply. "I have no clue about your reputation from your hunter days, doc. But today, to me, you're just another co-worker, a premium mail carrier, sure. But still, just a mail carrier." The scene cuts to that room at HQ where they argued, now bathed in a sinister red light that seems to foreshadow what's coming. The kid reflects that, in this wasteland, there are the survivors. People who bet their lives on near-zero chance cores and didn't turn to dust. Folks who slapped to the Grim Reaper in the face, beat impossible odds, and gained powers that would make any army shake in their boots. He knows these guys earn the title of hunters and take care of the messy stuff nobody else sees. And he, Woo Jungkook, is one of them. He faced the core and stayed on his feet. The camera pans up showing the new government complex from above, an island of order in the middle of total chaos. The government crunches the numbers and waits for his return. The clock is ruthless. Only 48 hours left until the delivery deadline. The rule is clear and cutthroat. If he doesn't step foot in there on time, he's presumed gone for good, and the state confiscates even the air he breathed. A firm footstep echoes on the cracked asphalt. It's time to go. The MC realizes that his chat with Myung ate up more time than he could afford to lose. The timer is screaming. He tightens the straps on his backpack and hits the road, vanishing into the fog without a single glance in the rearview mirror. The target of this express delivery, Incheon, Sector Namdong-gu AAA, a place you definitely won't find in any tourist guidebook. A deer crosses his path, nature taking back what belongs to it, completely ignoring the end of the human world. Namdong-gu is no man's land. Over there, power is settled with blades and shouting, and the settlement bosses change faster than the weather forecast, driving HQ totally crazy. Sector AAA is the absolute worst. It's a place that locked itself away from the world. The rule is strict. The letter has to be placed right in the owner's hand. No leaving it with the front desk or the neighbor. But the MC keeps his swagger. "I'm gonna wrap up this delivery with 2 days to spare just to see the look on that officer's face." He already pictures the guy having to swallow his own pride and admit that the mailman of the month is undefeated. It had been an eternity since he last stepped foot out there, and he tries to dig through his memory for any safe spot that hasn't been turned into rubble. He keeps pondering whether the last air raid completely wiped the settlement that used to sell supplies in that zone off the map. With no friendly neighbors around, he starts calculating if it isn't better to take the long way around rather than walking straight into a wolf's den. The kid checks his route options and complains to himself. Everything's so expensive. This world is charging a toll just to breathe. Deep in the thick woods, he hears some yelling. Listen here, you drunk. What were you thinking? If you've got extra supplies, pay Kim and get out of here. I'm taking this route. By myself. The MC spots the uniform from a distance. Other mailmen, what are these guys doing out here in the middle of nowhere? He stays on the down low watching the guys. He gets the feeling he's bumped into them before in the department hallways. He thinks, maybe this is my chance to ask for directions and save some shoe leather. But his survival instinct pains. Are you nuts? Are you really gonna trust the word of a bunch of desperate guys who can barely stand up? This guy Kim tells everybody to go to hell and walks off, while his partner tries to calm the guy down. Don't be so stubborn, these folks know what they're talking about. That's when the scene gets weird. 3 hooded guys pop out of nowhere. The MC is puzzled. Wait, one angry dude leaves and 3 ghosts show up. He realizes the mail carriers were trying to set up a deal with this group. One of the hooded guys already sniffs the MC out and says, "Hello there, young man," heading towards Incheon. The guy offers their guiding services for a small symbolic fee and asks if the MC wants to chip in. The kid just stands there weighing the risks. Are they guides or is it a trap? The dude in the hood, with a sarcastic smile you can practically hear in his voice, tries to put the kid at ease. He guarantees with a sinister calmness, "Don't be shy, kid. We are completely trustworthy people. Peaceful ones, too." The MC freezes in place, and the gears in his head start spinning at top speed. He pulls up the golden rule, the #1 commandment for anyone stepping outside the safe zone. The only real mission is to keep breathing, and anyone who comes at you with sweet talk about peace and trust in the middle of hell is with 100% certainty getting ready to pull a fast one on you. One of the desperate mailmen shouts, "Wait a minute, kid, don't leave." But the MC just grumbles through his teeth, feeling the bitter taste of having thrown precious minutes in the trash with those people. He decides that their map must be as full of holes as the group's morals, and that his best bet is to just trust his own instincts. But before he could hit the gas, this Kim guy pops out of nowhere and gives the kid a poke on the shoulder. Wow, the young man's got quite a build on him, huh? Almost intimidating. The MC gets spooked so bad he almost jumps. How did his old guy get here? He wants to know exactly when the guy got close enough to poke him without making a single sound. Kim isn't even fazed by the kid's shocked look. "Very good, you passed my acid test. Now, enough chatting, just follow me." The kid kicks the dirt in frustration. "Huh, where do you think you're going? Weren't you the one who was scared and was gonna follow me?" Kim drops it, as casual as can be, that both their destinations are exactly the same. The MC immediately flips to high alert mode. "What? How do you know where I'm going? Are you reading minds now? Where else would it be in this middle of nowhere? Right over here, Bukyeon." The old man replies with total conviction. But the MC knows damn well that Bukyeon is in the opposite direction, and he's headed to Incheon. Kim catches his mistake right away and corrects himself with enviable nerve. "Right, Incheon, that's exactly what I was gonna say," and starts walking off, telling the kid to hit the road with him. The kid stares at the old man's back with a look that feels like it's trying to pierce right through the guy's soul to see what's inside. He pulls Mr. Kim aside and wants the real story. What was the actual deal with those 3 hooded guys who wanted to be guides? Kim explains that those folks are from some rundown settlement nearby, and they swear they run the whole show. But he adds, grumbling, that it was a lie more washed out than a bus station floor rag. The MC agrees with the verdict, but he's intrigued. How did this drunk old man sniff out the bad intentions so fast? What did he see in them to make that call? Kim says the secret is physiognomy, the ancient art of reading what a face hides, and takes the chance to poke at the MC, saying his face is also full of secrets and mysteries. He follows up by saying that, since Mr. Face Reader over here also smelled something rotten and avoided the guys, they should just go their separate ways, and good luck. The MC shoots back instantly, reminding him that he never asked the old man to babysit him all the way to Incheon. Kim flashes an ear-to-ear smile. "Great, then you're coming with me." The kid thinks this old guy has a screw loose, but in a way that's way more dangerous and unpredictable than Director Bae. Kim wants to know who he's walking with, and the MC drops his name, Woo Jung-kuk. The old man practically shoots off fireworks. "Woo Jung-kuk, look at that, we're 2 woos, little brother. What are the odds? It's destiny." He jumps straight into the family tree, says every self-respecting Woo comes from Danyang, so they're practically the exact same bloodline. Says he knew right away that the family features were right there, stamped all over his little bro's face. Kim proposes a highly successful partnership for the 2 of them, and asks again where exactly in Bushian the kid was headed. The MC just loses his patience, tells him to keep his voice down so he doesn't attract monsters, and repeats for the 1,000th time, "It's Inchan." Deep down, the kid decides there's a good strategic reason to let this crazy face reader walk by his side. He wants to figure out what the old man's real deal is. Mid-walk, Kim asks for the exact drop-off spot, and the MC reveals the level of trouble they're in, Sector AAA. Kim immediately groans, saying the place is a black hole that doesn't take mail, and that his little bro has terrible luck. But the MC holds his ground. It's his job, and the delivery is gonna get done, even if the sky falls all over again. Kim is impressed by such dedication and confesses he's starting to really like this cocky little bro more and more. The MC notices a bizarre detail. The old man is following his steps with ninja-like precision, stepping exactly where he steps so he doesn't make any extra noise. He starts connecting the dots. The old man isn't some fool. He refused to go with the others and decided to brave this danger zone because, just like the MC, Kim smelled the danger from a mile away and knew the guides were in ambush. The question remains, did Kim get close to save the kid from the looters? Or did he just need a solid human shield to save his own skin? Hard to say, but the old man is definitely no rookie. Kim points out that the sun is going down and their best move is to rest for 2 hours in that ruined building. The kid watches the old guy lie down and pass out instantly, but notices Kim's hand never leaves his back. There's some heat in there, ready to go off. The MC makes a call. He'll just nap for 30 minutes to catch his breath, and then he'll take the watch. The kid drifts into that light sleep, animal sleep. The kind where you sleep with one eye open and your ear tuned to the wind. Suddenly, his eyes snap wide open, like an alarm just went off in his soul. In a move that is pure muscle memory, he pulls his gun from the bag before he's even fully sat up, and points the barrel right at Kim, who, to no one's surprise, already has his own gun locked right on the MC's forehead. Kim drops a compliment with a smirk, without his trigger finger twitching even a bit. "Not bad, little brother. Your instincts are razor sharp. You almost had me." The MC gives that smile of someone who knows the game inside out and fires back. "Anyone who turns a deaf ear or sleeps heavily out here became worm food a long time ago, old man."